Hello super nerds, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll talk about the heroes who have wielded Thor's hammer, many of whom have been deemed worthy at various moments in Marvel's stories, including some moments when not even Thor was accepted by the incredible Mjolnir. Black Widow, starting the video with the incredible Natasha Romanoff as Black Widow, the heroine has been considered worthy of lifting Thor's hammer. That's right, if you enjoy hero stories and comics as much as we do at Hero Circle, it's very important that you leave a like to support the channel. I hope you can subscribe. After all, the channel is still new and I intend to bring a lot of content to you. Without further ado, let's get straight to the video. Black Widow. Natasha lifted Thor's hammer in a story presented in What If? Just like the animated version released on Disney+, the comics also have a series of stories with the same theme, introducing new universes with different possibilities. In Volume 3 of the What If? Age of Ultron comic, a version of the universe is presented where Ragnarok took the lives of all superpowered beings, leaving only powerless heroes to protect the universe. Thus, these characters are gathered by Nick Fury with the goal of defending the planet from Jormungand, the giant Nordic serpent that killed Thor. After the god of thunder is defeated, the serpent takes the lives of various other heroes. The group assembled by Fury consists only of Black Widow, Microchip, Falcon, and Shang-Chi. So, the characters face an army of ice giants in Latveria before going after the creature itself. In the midst of this journey, Natasha finds the hammer left at the site after its previous owner's death. By wielding it, she becomes the new Thor. She immediately joins the battle, using her new abilities against the giant serpent. The story concludes with Fury reminiscing about how incredible the heroine has become, stating that the moment was greater than any other absurdity he has witnessed in his life. According to him, nothing could compare to Black Widow becoming the new Thor. Beta Ray Bill. Next on our list is Beta Ray Bill. He is a Corbinite who was genetically modified to become the protector of his race. Bill had to flee his home planet, which was to be destroyed by Surtur, embarking on a journey in a state of ecstasy to survive. As I mentioned, before the journey, Bill was genetically modified to gain powers to defend his race during the trip. Thor, at Nick Fury's request, intercepts Bill Ray Beta's ship, Veracamea, but is attacked by him, mistaking him for an enemy. During the battle, Bill manages to wield Thor's hammer, gaining the same divine powers as the hero. Later, Odin, Thor's father, transports Beta Ray Bill to the city of Asgard, thinking he is his son. However, after discovering the mistake, he calls the real Thor. The two warriors claim possession of Mjolnir, so Odin resolves the deadlock through a duel between the two. Beta Ray Bill wins, but doesn't feel right possessing the hammer, even though he needs it to save his race. So Odin creates a new hammer called Stormbreaker and gives it to Bill, granting him powers similar to Thor's. Since then, Bill and Thor have become allies. Were you already familiar with this story? Captain America. Many may know that Captain America lifted Mjolnir for the first time in the movies in Avengers Endgame, but in the comics, the hero has lifted Thor's hammer a few times. The first time Captain America lifted Thor's hammer was in issue 390 of the Thor comic, back when the hero was known only as the Captain. It was a brief moment where he defeated several adversaries. After the Civil War, many believed that Steve Rogers had lost his life. Later, it was discovered that he was lost in time. When he returned to the present, he found out that Bucky had taken up his mantle, and as a result, he began working as a kind of coordinator for the various Avengers groups that existed at the time. However, during the Fear Itself arc, Bucky lost his life, Thor was defeated by his uncle, and Rogers not only resumed being Captain America, but also lifted Mjolnir to lead the surviving heroes in an attempt at victory. Additionally, during the Secret Empire saga, the living cosmic cube named Kobik changed the past and turned Steve Rogers into a Hydra infiltrator. On the day the hero becomes a dictator and takes over the Earth, he for some reason manages to lift Thor's hammer. Hulk. The case we're going to mention is different from the previous ones. In this one, Hulk wasn't accepted by the hammer, but managed to lift it with his terrifying brute strength. In Hulk vs. Thor, Banner of War Alpha 1, we see that Bruce Banner has completely lost control of Hulk, giving rise to a new monstrous form of the giant called Titan. To try to stop him without causing too many losses, Lady Sif sends both Hulk and Thor to the Dark Hand of God, the severed hand of a celestial that contains various challenges. There, Thor tries to pin Hulk to the ground by throwing his hammer into the belly of the mighty Hulk, who, not being worthy of the hammer, would be stuck to the ground. However, the new Hulk is beyond any salvation. Using all his strength, he manages to make the hammer pass through his body, creating a large hole in his abdomen. He then gets up, holding Mjolnir to his chest, and maliciously smiles at the God of Thunder. Red Hulk. Another case of cheating to use Thor's hammer, Red Hulk was also able to lift the hammer. In this case, he truly managed to wield the powerful Mjolnir and attack Thor himself with it. All of this happened during a battle between the two. Thor was winning against the mighty Red Hulk, who quickly needed to find a way to defeat the God of Thunder. So, Red Hulk throws Thor into space, launching him with great force and following him. Surprisingly, at that moment, Red Hulk also manages to use Thor's hammer, thanks to the lack of gravity, which prevented the spell on Mjolnir from working. Thus, Red Hulk not only surprised Thor, but also struck him several times with the hammer. Jane Foster. As you know, Jane Foster can lift Thor's hammer, but do you know how it happens in the comics? After the original Sin Saga, Thor could no longer use Mjolnir. This happens because he realizes he's not worthy to wield it. While the God of Thunder falls into depression, all the Asgardians line up to try to lift the hammer, even Odin tries. Everyone fails, and thus, the powerful weapon is left abandoned on the moon. However, Jane Foster is summoned to the hammer and manages to touch it. This occurs in the character's solo comic. Immediately, she is flooded with magical energy, completely changing her appearance. Knowing that there must always be a Thor, she takes up that mantle and continues to save the day as the mighty Thor. With her identity hidden by her mask, Jane had to face a series of battles to prove she was worthy of the hammer. While the God of Thunder eventually accepted the new Mjolnir champion, Odin didn't like the idea, striving to destroy the heroine. Deadpool. Of course, Deadpool couldn't be missing from the list with a mention of him lifting Thor's hammer, or almost that. This time, Deadpool was manipulated by Loki, who instructed the talkative mercenary to steal the hammer. He did it while Thor was on a heroic mission. The God of Thunder lets the hammer fall, and in the midst of the confusion, Deadpool takes advantage to locate it and steal it. With Mjolnir in his possession, the mercenary doesn't let the power go to his head and ends up doing typical Deadpool activities, like ordering delivery, hitting baseballs with the hammer, and so on. So, the question arises, did he manage to grab the weapon so easily? Well, Deadpool wasn't holding the real Mjolnir. The actual one was still in the same place where Thor dropped it. It was all just Loki's illusion game. This is part 01 of our video about heroes who have lifted Thor's hammer. We know that others have lifted it, including heroes who aren't from Marvel. If you help us by leaving a like on the video, we'll bring you a second part soon with even more heroes. Comment below heroes you know have also used the hammer. See you in the next video. Take care, heroes.